Hello, welcome back to the channel.
Welcome back everyone.
Today we're going to do a bit of a wash up on our previous travels to Spain, like how we got there, what we did when we were there, our likes and dislikes, locations, campsites, park ups, and then we'll do a rough idea about how much it cost. So we'll start with the ferry journey, because last time we've been away, we have done wash ups on previous trips that we've done, but we've never been on the ferry. We've normally gone across on the tunnel, haven't we?
Yeah, so it was something different. The only thing I really worried about the ferry weren't the crossing, it was more just the motorhome. And you do hear the stories of the motorhome sort of bottoming out on the ramps and stuff. So that was only my concern, being we're in the Swift and it's quite low on the Alco chassis for us. However, we were fine on that trip.
Yeah, we were fine. We were good on the way there. On the way back, though, they'd stuck us in with the motorbikes, didn't they?
It looked like they overloaded the ship, personally.
Yes.
But we were in deck 2, and normally they don't put anyone down there. Now, there was people...
Just the motorbikes. They do put the motorbikes
well,
there.
other than the motorbikes.
Yeah.
But there were a whole line of us motorhomes. We were lucky to be in the belly. However, some were parked up on the ramp forward and to the rear. That much of a point that they couldn't really get out their motorhome because it was sort of like you had the walls either side.
Yeah, so we went there on the one from Portsmouth. We went to Bilbao. And on the way back we went from Santander to Plymouth. The one there was quite plain sailing, literally, wasn't it? It was really good, and we did a video about that. We've got a vlog about the whole ferry trip. That was very pleasant. On the way back it was very choppy, the seas, wasn't it? And we were constantly moving. Everyone in the bar looked like they were drunk. Some may have been, but everybody looked drunk the way they were walking around. Some people were ill, weren't they? Struggled with it. It was really bad on the way back, and I think for about 24 hours after that trip I was still rocking. I don't know about you, but I was still like that. My preferred, should I say, method is actually going on the tunnel and going through France.
Yeah, I think the only benefit I found was saving on mileage. You know, because the cost is going to be reasonably the same if you do toll fees as well, and then your fuel and wear and tear on the motorhome. So yeah, you do a lot less miles if you're just going to hang around Spain. So
when we got to Bilbao, we drove on to a place called Logrona, I believe it's called. We'll put it in here. We did do a video on this area. We went to park in, like, free parking, wasn't it? We went to do an
oh yeah, I remember now, because it was a massive car park. Well, there was the motorhome stop. However, what people were saying, and it was even saying on Search Site app, that you need to get into a bay properly. It don't matter if you overhang the motorhome. However, we couldn't. We're too low, so we couldn't overhang. So we had to move on from that part.
Yeah, because there was a curb bit behind, and then there was like a mud mound as well.
Yeah, and then we moved to a car park where there was about 3 motorhome bays and a service point.
Yeah, it's a huge car park. You could have parked anywhere in it and you'd have been all right, to be honest, as long as there wasn't anything on where they needed the car park. And there was another van right over the other side.
Yeah.
But we felt comfortable sleeping there. We just didn't feel comfortable leaving the motorhome there, because there was only the 2 of us either side of the whole car park. We wanted to go and venture. We really wanted to go off into the city and see it, really, Logrona. But because we didn't feel comfortable leaving it, we didn't get to go. And we would like to go back and do that, wouldn't we? We've been told it's really nice and we'd like to do it. But then we ended up moving on from there. It was a bit of a fail for us, that. And we ended up finding a lovely, like, national park, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was really nice. Yeah. And again, Search Sites app, you know, it's always a winner, that app, for us. We were the only ones there originally, but then a few turned up in the night, smaller vans. They even looked like they had decent, you know, we was in one bay when we moved. Yeah, because it's nice long bays for our size vehicle, wasn't it? There was lots of car parking. There was cars coming and going to visit, wasn't they? Yeah. The area, you know, you had your walkers, cyclists, hikers and stuff. But other than that, it was quite a peaceful stop, that was, for the first time. Yeah, lovely lake there as well. That's where we saw all the carp, loads of them. There must have been about 50 of them. Never seen so many in one area. All in one area. We crossed the little footbridge and they're all there sort of like wanting food or something. So, but we're not allowed to feed them. It says no feeding. Never seen anything like that, have we, before? We stayed there for the night, didn't we? Or did we stay there 2 nights? I can't remember. One night. We stayed there for one night. I went for a run the next morning, nearly got lost, so thank God for Google Maps, because I nearly followed another runner and she was going a completely different way.
I might have ended up in Negrona, to be fair. But I went for a run. That was nice and pleasant. Loads of cyclists about, walkers, things like that, and dog walkers. And you met a squirrel.
The red squirrel, yeah, which is quite nice. I don't think I've seen one for years. May have seen one as a kid. Can't really remember now. But yeah, he came right up to you. They're pretty tame, probably because they know they're going to get some sort of food, probably. Even though I didn't have nothing for him, to be fair.
Well, we did see a guy feeding them later on, so he must come up quite regularly, like a local, and feed them and stuff just on his own. Yeah, so that was a lovely stop, and we do recommend that place, definitely. So when we left there, we had heading to the coast in mind, because our objective, if you like, of the whole holiday was to find a campsite where we can take our family and they can stay, they can fly out while we're on a trip for 1, 2, 3 months, whatever. They can fly out for a week or two and join us and stay in like the separate accommodation. Yeah,
because usually a lot of their campsites in Spain, Portugal as well, that they have bungalows or some form of other accommodation, so you haven't got to be in the motorhome or caravan, which means they could fly out and stay with us.
Yeah, so that's what we were looking for. So our next stop, we sort of got a bit of a move on and ended up in Zaragoza.
We did, yeah.
So that free air there, quite a few people know of the Zaragoza stop because it's really handy. We stayed in the actual air the first time, and there's a football place behind there, isn't there? Like what you call football ground. So it gets quite busy, and there was a lot of people parking there late on. So you do have to be there quite early, don't you, to get into
they
that
have got like a car park to the side that ain't for us, but for the air itself, you do have to. To be honest, it's hit and miss. But yeah, earlier you get there, the better, because we had people still trying to come in really late. You got the overflow as well.
Yeah, you got an overflow down the other end where we stayed on our way back, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and we went into Zaragoza. There's a tram that goes right outside the stop. You just get on there, get into Zaragoza. We use our Google Maps to follow. So any like public transport like that, we put it into Google Maps and we follow the journey, so we know where we're getting off and what stop it is. So we went to Zaragoza, lovely place.
Yes,
yeah, lovely
nice.
city. Very big to visit in one day, I think. If you want to see everything properly, I think you need a couple of days there. It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we did a quick whip round best we could, stopped for something to eat, and then back again. So we didn't really do it justice, but we did the best we could in the time we had.
It was more a halfway stop.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. But we've stopped there before, but we've never. Oh no, we haven't stopped there, but we've tried to stop there before. We've never got in on time. We've always been too late, haven't we?
Yeah. Even the overflow was packed.
Yeah, but we used the services last time, and then went to Pamplona, didn't we? Yeah. It's not far from Pamplona really. So if you don't get in there, Pamplona, you can get in Pamplona. So what we were finding though, for the first couple of stops, it was red hot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was roasting. It was like 36 degrees, wasn't it? Like
plus.
that. Plus,
we were in the van.
Yeah.
We were getting up to the 38s.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, and it was very, very hot. So we decided we were looking at other places to go to visit before we got to the coast, but we was just so hot we decided to go to the coast, didn't we?
Yeah, see if we can get some of that breeze off the coast.
Yeah. So we found a place called Camping Clara, didn't we?
Yeah.
I believe the place that Camping Clara is near is called Tarambaca or something like that. I probably said it completely wrong, but we'll put it here for you. But that was quite close to it, and Clara was a nice little place, wasn't it, as well?
It was, yeah. It was a good campsite. Now you have got the issue of the trees. Now the trees out there, they've got, they're not just the trunks, they've got thick, branches coming off and stuff like that. So, and they can be quite low. However, the people that run it, I think it was brother and sister.
Brother and sister, it's family run campsite, really friendly. Yeah.
He was quite used to helping people on and off the pitch. He got me into our pitch, which was pretty much blocked left, rear and at the front. And I did wonder how we were going to get off, but we did. We done it.
Yeah. And the one thing I really liked about that is you just walked out of a locked gate with use your key to get out and back in, and you was on a beach.
Yep, straight away on the beach. And it was a nice beach,
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think it was actually a private beach, but people didn't normally walk to it, so it became like a private beach, didn't it?
It did really for the site. Yeah. And I suppose the areas around it, left and right, there was other sort of, I don't think they were residential, they might have been holiday sort of lets as well.
Yeah, there was other campsites as well, I think, down that road.
Yeah.
And there was loads of amenities around it. Was it a Lidl or something we found, or an Aldi, something like that? And there was like a nice little village there with some history to it as well. So for a stop for a couple of nights, I think it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there was seasonals on there as well, weren't they? So people do stay there longer. We enjoyed that stop. So what we had done before we actually went is we booked 2 campsites, because as I said, we were looking for that family kind of location. And one of the places I wanted to go to and show Lee, because I've been there a couple of times and it was the first place I'd ever been on holiday, was Salou, Costa Dorada. So we went there, didn't we? Went to a campsite, I think it was called Camping Salou or something I can't remember. We'll put it here what it's called. So we went there and went there for 7 nights, didn't we?
Yeah.
But we got there, and yes, it seems very nice and well run, don't get me wrong. But the girl that got showing us to our pitch thought that the motorhome could move as fast as her electric bike straight off and, get into little places she could get into. Because the minute she said, follow me, by the time we got in the van, set off, she'd gone, hadn't she? So we were trying to find her. Eventually we found her, and then she showed us the pitch. You didn't like the look of it, did you?
No, to be honest, I didn't think we were getting on it, so that was a challenge in itself. It had an irrigation ditch which was massive, but there was no guidance from the staff. Luckily everyone's friendly that does this sort of thing, most people, and they came up and said, no, put some wood down. However, there was an empty pitch to one side, and the original way I was trying to reverse on, that was going to not happen, so I had to reverse up, move forward into the pitch on my right, and then reverse on. Now if that pitch was taken up, I don't think we would have got on that pitch.
We may have got on, but not as comfortably as we did in the end. There might have been a lot of,
and we sort of had to part long ways, so the door was facing to the road, I suppose. But it was okay.
I mean, you've been quite challenged, haven't you, with the parking in the first half of the first half of the holiday.
It can get quite challenging, so I always say just be aware of your height and have your own sort of spatial awareness of the motorhome, because it can come close sometimes, but if in doubt, just stop, take a look about. Hopefully you'll have people on the outside helping you. Again though, it's still putting that trust in someone else's eyes, which ain't always a good thing, because at the end of the day it's your pride and joy.
But I think the reason you manage it is because somehow you stay calm, even though inside you might be stressing a bit. You don't look it, you look really calm, which I think is the reason that you're able to do it, because when you get stressed out and you're trying to park, so it doesn't, it's worse. Panic. No, you don't panic.
I don't panic, we're either getting on or we're not.
We liked the campsite. It had loads of different pools and greenery, like jungly looking, wasn't it, with the pools and that, and like waterfalls things and like rapid stuff and all that for the families and the kids, and it was really busy that time of year anyway. There was lots of people there. It had everything you needed, washing machines, all that kind of stuff, restaurants, bars. It had everything. It was really, really good. It was right in the middle of the city, so you had to come in off the main road and sort of come down some narrow roads, but we realised they were one way, so it wasn't too bad. But once you're there, it's really a good location, local to actual Salou, isn't it? So it's really good like that. But we found it really difficult to go out to the bars on the evenings on the camps because of all the greenery. There was a lot of mosquitoes, and I just don't like risking getting bitten. I'm a lot better with it now. I've got a solution for everything. It's just at that time I didn't want to put myself in that scenario and come covered in bites. So
I suppose it's a good base if you want to explore Salou.
It's a nice family campsite. It is. It is really nice. But the weather changed for us as well, didn't it? We ended up with a couple of really bad rainy days.
So it weren't that pleasant on the pitch either, because it's like the light sandy dust type. So when it rained, it sort of sprayed that everywhere.
Bit like muddy as well. It was a bit muddy. But so we enjoyed Salou. We went and visited it. We walked around. I tried to go around memory lane, but so much has changed from when I went there when I was 20 many years ago. And whilst we was there, we booked an excursion, didn't we?
Yeah, which was really good, wasn't it?
Went to a medieval village in the mountains called Serena, which was really nice. We got a tour guide, didn't you? Picked us up outside one of the hotels, drove us out there, gave us loads of information, and we stayed for a coffee and all that, didn't we, as well? It was a lovely place. How many people? Can you remember how many people lived there?
51.
Something like that. Yeah, it was low numbers.
Something like that, yeah. And there is a village not far if you're looking down off the mountain, and that's where the school is and all that sort of stuff.
Nice views as well, beautiful views. And the history. And there was only 4 of us, there's another couple with us, weren't they? And then the tour guide, obviously 5. Yeah, really, really enjoyed that. And the weather was good to us that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was okay.
Really, really good. So that's worth a visit. I would recommend, if you're in Salou and you get the chance to go to it. It didn't cost us that much either, really, for what we did. It was really good. And after our 7 nights in Salou, which we thoroughly enjoyed, we headed to a park up in Valencia, because that's somewhere else I've always wanted to visit.
Yeah, and that was really nice. And the park up was basic, but it still had a restaurant type bar thing.
Yeah.
It had toilets and showers, a decent service point tucked away in the corner, and the pitch sizes weren't that bad. So it was a bit more like an air, but with facilities, and it had a pool. Yeah,
we didn't get to go to the pool because it was used quite a lot, and we wanted to go and visit Valencia and things. So we were there 2 nights, and we didn't really get the time to go in the pool there.
No.
But we really enjoyed it there. It was really peaceful, really nice, and it just felt like we was away in Spain, didn't it? It had such a good feel about it. And whilst we was at that campsite, we realised that you could get a travel card. Now, there is a tram stop just down the road, isn't there, from there, which takes you into Valencia. I can't remember how much the travel card was. Can you remember?
€15 for the travel card. There was other benefits to having the travel card. We didn't really use it to its full potential, but there was museums you can get in. I think you can get tapas, 2 tapas and a drink with the card at certain restaurants. However, we only used it for the metro, as it was.
We were going to use it for something to eat, but I'd hurt my back at that point. I won't go into that. I've already done the sob story of that in previous vlogs. So I'd hurt my back, so we didn't stay out as long as we wanted to, did we? That's why. And I needed to get back because we did a lot of walking. But we went into Valencia and we went to the cathedral there, didn't we?
Yeah, which is really good. And, we only really looked up the cathedral, not long beforehand.
Probably the day before.
Yeah, and realising that they're claiming to have the Holy Grail or the chalice.
Very interesting, yeah.
Going through history, no matter who you are, at some point you would have heard the stories, and especially growing up. So it's quite a big, important statement that they're saying, or a claim
they're
that they've
claiming
got,
to have the actual one. If you do visit Valencia and you do like that kind of thing, we do recommend it. They have the headphones for the audio tour.
Yeah.
They've got the museum there, and it is quite big, and you do get to see and hear quite a lot.
Yeah, so the headset is standard on the price, so it is good and very beautiful, place to visit.
When he was sneakily filming, because we had to be quiet, when he was sneakily filming, he looked like a reporter with that headset on, didn't you? And that had its own chapel, didn't it?
Yeah.
The Holy Grail, and there was a lot of people there sort of respecting it, praying, whatever, and it was quite fascinating, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
The sort of energy you got in there, whether that's because how you feel about something, you sort of create that energy. But there was definitely an energy in there, and it was quite amazing. But that's really good. We would definitely recommend the Valencia Cathedral if that's your type of thing, definitely.
Yeah.
And Valencia itself is really nice. It's just another big Spanish city, isn't it? So it's if you want to see more of Valencia, you need a couple of days again, really, to get the benefit out of it, not just try and do it in one day like us. There's so much to see and do. On leaving Valencia, we were looking for something a bit different. Just before, because we knew we'd got another campsite coming up at some point, and we'd been to the one in Salou and we'd done that stop before. We want to do something different, maybe a free stop this time.
Yeah.
And when we was looking on search for sites, we found a pub stop.
Victoria, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Was it just called the Victoria?
Yeah. It had like the tube sign.
Yeah.
As if you're in London, the tubes, Victoria.
Yeah.
And that was a Brit stop in Spain.
Yeah, it was in a place called Percent. And it was actually number 100 in
well, we
percent.
believe it is, because they said 100% on their
Yeah,
site.
but we think that's the number, and I actually couldn't wrap my head around that. Why is it 100? Why are they putting 100% on it? What's that got to do with anything? Is that reviews? I don't know. But obviously, I think that's the actual number of the building in the place called Percent. But we went there we stopped there, but it's not a place that you would just turn up, I don't think. On their Facebook page, that's how I contacted them, wasn't it? Through the Facebook page.
Yeah.
And they do have a phone number. number as well that you can ring, but it's not a very big car park. And if they've got something on, like they had a quiz night on when we got there and it got quite full, the locals get a bit, not all of them, but some of them got a little bit funny about like that we'd taken up so many spaces and things like that.
Even though we had permission, we were invited there.
Phoning up is probably the best thing to do, or contacting them on Facebook.
You get a lovely meal there anyway, don't you?
We were really impressed with it. We went in, and because it was nice, we were in the garden area, and they kept the quiz to one side of the restaurant garden area, which you could hear it all, which was quite fun, trying to have your own guess at the answers, wasn't it? We would have been last if we'd have played it. And then the other side was the restaurant area. The way they'd done the menu was it showed you 3 courses, and the pricing was on the main meal. So depending on what main meal you got, that was your price for the whole of the 3 courses. Then we realised all the tapas they bring out, it ends up being 8 courses. So it was an 8-course meal, and the wine was cheap as well, wasn't it? Very cheap.
I think it was only 60 something euros. For the 2 meals and 2 bottles of rosé wine. And you stay there the night. So
I would recommend it, definitely, but please do contact them first. And there's a nice little town as well with more restaurants and things. And
there is. So there's other little bits around.
It was a bit up in the mountains though, wasn't it? I remember a little bit of a
lot of cyclists, and we have heard they do a lot of training up there.
When you don't know where you're going, and Lee's a great driver, but when you don't know where you're going and you're going up in the mountains, and then you go like hairpin bends and things like that, and then you've got to get out of here as well afterwards, it's a bit nerve-wracking, but it wasn't that bad, was it?
No. We've been worse. Definitely.
But that was great. Really enjoyed that place. So then we just wanted a one-night stopover before we got to where we were heading for our next campsite for 7 nights, and we found an area called Campello, El Campello, isn't it? El Campello. Yeah. So we stayed just on the outskirts of El Campello, didn't we? At a lovely little it was called, is that Camping El Campello?
It was,
Really friendly guy let us in. We just turned up, didn't we? So if there is space, you can just turn up. However, he has got a WhatsApp number, and you can book via that. That's how he likes to do things. Probably best to book sometimes, because it's one of them places that in siesta time there's nobody there, so if you turned up at that time you'd probably be waiting around. But so if you booked, he'd probably tell you how to get in, and your pitch number and everything. But that was really, really comfortable. It just felt, even though it was very basic, you would need to take your own toilet roll as well, because toilets don't have toilet roll in it. But it has washing machines and stuff.
Washing machines, sinks, showers. It is basic,
services
but it's all
and
there.
Stuff. There was lots that were staying for probably months probably on there, to be honest.
The longer you stay, the cheaper it gets.
So we stayed one night and we went to have a look at the beach. The beach was just down the road, and at this point my back was really playing me up, but it was just in walking distance, just down the street, and there was the
200
beach.
metres literally.
Beautiful beach, really, really beautiful. There was bars on the beach. We stopped at the bar, had a few drinks there. They had nice music on, and it was lovely hot weather, and you felt like you was on holiday, didn't you? You really did at that place. And it is a place that we said we liked it that much that if we ever were to consider moving out to Spain, that's somewhere we would go. I'd definitely stay longer in the motorhome, didn't we?
I mean, because you have got the trams and everything, so you can get about if needed. There is a bus service as well, and you've got everything there and the beach. And we liked that much, we booked on for 2 nights on the way back as well. We'll tell you about that after our campsite stop for the 7 nights, which was just down from Alicante, a place called La Marina, and we stayed there for 7. Beautiful campsite, wasn't it? It's a really
better
good
than
campsite.
The Salou, nicer and better and more open and bigger than the Salou one, I would say.
And they have got different size pitches. We went for the extra large pitch. And you can choose your pitch on booking. So we've done it right at the back, and we had it in a way that we knew we didn't have a pitch next to us. It was like a dead end road bit, wasn't it? But that way we could reverse the van in. Obviously we're after driving forward normally if we're going to be having the doors the same side as the others, so we try and make sure if we're booking a site like that we can reverse in, because it's nice to look out the front windows.
Well, we booked like a premium pitch anyway, because we knew we were going to be there 7 nights, and Oh, massive pitch.
yeah. To the point I even bought some of that caravan floor matting. I think they call it caravan floor matting. It's just green hessian because it can get quite dusty on their pitches out there. So it was nice just to put it out, and we made a proper homely pitch out of it, didn't we?
Yeah, with all the moving around in motorhomes, it's great when you're going and visiting places, but it's nice to settle down for a few days as well and have that like holiday feeling as well. That we're kind of used to, so that's we did. And the water park was
really
amazing.
Good water park,
really
bars,
amazing.
Restaurants,
but our terrace bars as well, shops, excursions you can book from there. There's a couple of beaches near there. We even took the bikes out, didn't we, to one of the beaches.
Two of the beaches.
One's just down the road literally, and the other one's just just up the main road, isn't it? About a mile up the main road. And then just cut off from there. But yeah, it was a beautiful place. It's very Spanish, so the meal time is if you book into, they've got a place called the Coliseum, which is set out like a Coliseum and entertainment on a stage at the bottom. If you want to book in there, you start, the timings start from 9 o'clock. So we went for the first time in, didn't we?
And that was the mini disco.
We didn't know that. We thought 9 o'clock at night, it's not going to be, we didn't, you go to like Haven and Butlins and places like that, they always start with the kids' entertainment, right? So we're thinking 9 o'clock at night, it will just be in for a meal, watch some entertainment. They put us front and centre, didn't they? Right on the floor with all the kids running around next to us. We hadn't even got a kid with us. We felt a bit awkward, didn't we? Like, smiling.
Yeah, it was fun.
We had to smile because we didn't want to sit there looking grumpy, but the kids' disco wasn't for us. They've done really well with it though, didn't they? They were really good with how they entertained their kids and stuff. It was really good. And then they had a show on afterwards, didn't they? Yeah,
it's a really good show actually. It was worth seeing, and all you really do is pay for the food and drink that you have.
You book it, you put like €5 down or something like that, just to guarantee that you definitely want that table, because I could give it to somebody else. And if you don't turn up, they just take that off you, because they'll be waiting for you to turn up. Because
there is only so many booths, so even though the campsite's quite big, they can only accommodate so many people in there.
Who was it that came over to me?
Oh, Elvis.
A fat Elvis. Is he not on EastEnders? Anyway, he came up to me and give me a kiss, which was quite embarrassing anyway, but there we go, just go with it. And I'm glad he did it at that stage, because later on he was dancing around with hardly anything on. So I don't.
Pants on.
So thank God it wasn't then. But it was, it's all entertaining. They do have a laugh with what they do. We enjoyed it, didn't we? There for the 7 nights.
Yeah,
we got out and about and did some stuff. And when we were there, we went to an island, didn't we?
We did, yes. That was Tarabacca.
That was the Tarabacca. I get confused with all
Island.
These names.
Yeah, and that was really good. So that was a trip out. We
kind of didn't know whether we were going to do that or not, because we went to Santa Pola, didn't we? Thinking, are we just going to go to Santa Pola? We got a taxi there. You've got to be careful with the taxis, though, because they can try and rip you off with the customs.
Pay that little bit more.
But we just had a walk around. Then we seen all the people selling the boat ride. They were all in a bit of competition with each other, because there's different lines going out, isn't they?
It's definitely worth a trip over to that island.
Beautiful.
The actual water is really, really clear, and you can see all the marine life in it as well, which is really nice. It looked to us as people take suitcases and stuff over, so there probably is accommodation if you wanted to.
Yeah, I reckon there is,
but you've got like the village area, and then you've got like a more of a barren area to the other side.
You can walk around. There's a walk that you can do all the way around the island. You could do that about an hour or something.
There's restaurants and stuff like that, you know.
There's little cove beachy bits, but they're quite stony, but there's little cove bits. And then one side is quite historic, like you said, and then the other side is where you've got your restaurants and your shops and a bit more history there as well. But really good to visit, wasn't it?
It was,
Really enjoyed it. Great day out. So that was 2 7-night stops we've done, one in Salou and one near Alicante in La Marina. And they're both great family campsites, good for different reasons. We're not too sure on either of them, because we thought about it, and it depends if you've got smaller children here. So if you're taking your grandkids, they're great, aren't they, for the grandkids with the pools. And Salou's great for if you've got young adults, because they can go out around the bars and the restaurants as well, whereas La Marina's a little bit out the way, isn't it, for them to have that kind of nightlife. So I guess it depends, and they were both perfect. They both had bungalows and chalets and things like that, didn't they? So we're still on the hunt for the perfect place. aren't we, really? Where it offers a bit of everything. So any ideas, please let us know. We've had some ideas already we're going to have a look at, but the more the better, isn't it, really, for us to explore. So when we left La Marina, we went back to El Campello. If you remember, I said we booked back to go there for 2 nights. And because we was going to go into Alicante from La Marina, but at our last day in El Campello we realised it was quicker to do it from there, and because we liked the place so much, we wanted to go back and explore it a bit more. So we did that and explored it. Beautiful place, as we've said before, and we got on the tram to Alicante, didn't we? We were a bit naive really to what was expected on the trams. We thought we could just take the phone and use contactless. We have had things happen to us before in Benidorm where and we know it can happen anywhere, where we've had like our card stolen or things like that. So we would take cash and the contactless, or just the contactless. And at this time we didn't have any cash with us.
No. But I usually do carry a bit of cash. And
we didn't think about the travel cards, and the guy wasn't around, so we just went to get the tram. We thought, we might be able to pay at the tram stop, didn't we? We could do that at the one in Valencia, so we thought we could do it there, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did see an English couple at the stop, and they said, no, you pay for it on the actual tram.
Yeah.
So we thought that's fine then. So we jumped on. We found the machine that you pay with.
Yeah, and obviously we couldn't. Well, we found out then we couldn't pay via contactless. It was either inserting the card or using cash. We have heard since then, though, they're trying to work with the company to update all their systems. It's just an old system, so
I don't know when that's going to happen.
It's not the Spanish way of doing things. It's just the tram systems are running on an old system.
A little bit outdated, I think, for the technologies we've got. It's probably financial, So
yeah, and that's all it is.
Yeah, good service. It is good.
Tram service. It's just it was always found difficult to pay, even if you got cash. So.
Yeah, well, we thought, we'll be all right. We'll just stay on it. If we can't pay, we'll pay at the end. When you get off, we'll go and explain what's happened, and then we'll pay them, didn't we?
Yeah.
But then Lee came to the realisation as we started to get closer to a city.
What I knew from experience of travelling on the tube in London, that you can go right far outside, and there'll probably be open stations. But we knew as you get closer to the city, they are going to be barriered. So it's just then having to communicate with someone, hopefully at the station, so we can pay. But there was actually pay machines, so we thought we hit jackpot. We still weren't outside of the barrier.
Yeah, but I was panicking by then because I thought we can't get out. We're going to be in trouble. Do you know what I mean?
But we went to the main machines. We paid contactless in Zaragoza on their tram system. So we thought the main machine.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
The main machine will be okay. But however, the whole system on that metro tram line is very outdated.
Yeah.
So it's cash or insert.
Even on the payment machines, yeah. So
even on the payment machines, even on the booths. So if you get up to someone and physically ask for a ticket, it is no contactless.
We had to phone the number and Lee had to say we haven't paid, we're stuck. Which they must get it a lot because they just opened the barrier and let us out. So we did the right thing, went to the booth, didn't we, to pay. I said, we haven't paid, we want to pay, and he says, I can't. It's no contactless. So he says, we can't pay you then. He says, no. I said, all right. So we left, thinking we were going to get grabbed, excuse me, by the police or something. But no, we did actually feel like criminals, to be honest, when we were leaving. But we tried to do the right thing, and we found a cash machine that actually did have contactless.
Yeah.
So we got some cash out, didn't we? And then because of the fee, sort of matched the cost of the tram there, we thought, we'll just take that as the payment, in our heads. But when we went back, we were struggling to put the cash in the machines, weren't we? The notes weren't going.
The notes weren't working, so none of the machines were working with cash. Then we went to the booth and paid that way on the way back. Yeah,
because the machines weren't working. So it's a bit. If you've got a travel card, or there's a way of getting travel card, that's probably the best way.
I can see why a lot of them that use the tram system, metro system a lot, will always have a travel card, because it is literally, you have so many journeys and you literally just tap it and you're done.
Yeah, for me, there's signs everywhere saying protect your belongings. Now, if you're forced to take a card, then criminals are going to know you've got a card on you.
Especially in Alicante, very high on pickpockets down in them stations.
Yeah, there was a few unusual characters down there when we were waiting to go back, weren't they, and things things like that. And so you're kind of forced to take your card out, so just be protective of that. That's all I would say. But we had a nice time in Alicante. We've never been there before. We had a little look around there. Another place that needs a couple of days to visit. The marina area and all that as well. And we've seen the castle there.
Mushroom Street or whatever it is.
If my back was better, I would have gone Mushroom Street. If my back were a bit better, we would have gone up to the castle. Apparently there's a lift, but we didn't know that. No. So we do know that now. We would have gone, wouldn't we? We would have gone up the lift, definitely. But we know that for another time if we revisit the area. So we enjoyed it there. What we decided to do was, because we're still looking for this campsite, we knew that there's a really nice campsite that has everything to offer that we're looking for on the outskirts of Benidorm.
But yes. Because we were heading that way anyway, but it was mainly to meet with someone. We
were going to meet someone as well, but because there was a campsite there that was kind of what we were looking for as well, we thought, well, we weren't going to stay in the main Benidorm. We've done that before. We've had troubles and stuff like that. We do like Benidorm. It's a nice place, nice beach. You get nice people there, but there is a side that lets it down. And for us, it's just that there is organised gangs out there, and they do exploit the English especially when some English go out there, stag do's and that, and go a little bit over the top. So I think they've decided that it's quite a hot spot when English are drunk to sort of thieve from them and things like that. So there's that side to it. That's the side we don't like. However, we do like the area, the old town, the beach. Some of the pubs are nice, it depends what time you go out and stuff. So we don't mind the area. It's not that we don't like it. It's just picking your timings and when you go out and where you go. So we didn't want to be in Benidorm this time. We decided to go onto a camp called Camping Al Mafra.
We thought it did look really nice, and they do a happy hour as well. We was told. So, but it looked like a nice area, nice pool.
I took him to the happy hour when he was a bit moody, cheered him up.
Never moody.
No, I'm joking. So we stayed there, and you can choose your pitch. So we chose the wrong pitch really to start off with. We were too close to the chalets, and the way the chalets were, all the amenities were on our side of the chalet, so they were walking through the pitches instead of going round onto the path and walking round. They didn't understand etiquette of motorhome pitches, did they?
And usually I would get out and have a little look, but where we were parked to go into reception, there weren't really a lot of space. I didn't want to leave the van there. I left you in the van, and then I went in there.
You didn't mind leaving me there? No.
Yeah, well, looking after the van. But, so I didn't physically go and have a look, but I thought, okay, you got the toilet blocks there. And then, I just picked it a little bit away from the entertainment and pool for a bit of peace and quiet. However, I didn't realise that we'd be right on bungalows and stuff like that in the middle of that. However, we moved.
Matter. Yeah, it didn't matter. We moved and we were happy enough, weren't we?
Yeah, so, that's no problem at all. You can't get it perfect every time, and when we moved it was a lovely pitch actually. And
it's a lovely campsite. They've got entertainment on, they do food, they've got shop, they've got a lovely pool. Amazing pool.
Had a bit of Michael Jackson entertainment on that.
He was called Ben Jackson, his name. Ben Jackson,
the new one I think in that area, isn't it?
But he's very good at it. He looks like him, doesn't he?
He does,
very much so. But he was really good. It's handy because you can get the tram into Benidorm quite easily, and it goes, obviously you can get into another place called Altea where we went to, and we went on a sunset boat trip which I booked online, and that was really nice. That was to say thank you. That was my treat to Lee, say thank you for putting up with me. And
she was going to push me over the side. That's what he was going to do.
You didn't have enough carver for that.
We'd spent too long together by then. That was it. I was going over.
How am I going to get home? I can't drive the motorhome. That was never going to happen.
It's near an airport, wasn't it?
I suppose. But, no, I want the motorhome. I'm not flying back. So it was thank you very much for putting up with me, my limitations while I had lots of things happening to me, bad back, mosquito bites, things like that, and I wasn't very well with a fever one time as well, so it limited us to what we could do. It was to say thank you very much for being great, helping me out. So it was a lovely sunset cruise, wasn't it?
It was really good. Although the sun was hidden behind the clouds.
It was a bit cloudy.
We see the transition from day to night, so there you go.
So no, really enjoyed that. And after Benidorm area, a camp in Almafra. That was our last stop along the coast, so we had to head back up for the ferry, didn't we, Santander?
Yeah.
So we stopped over again in Zaragoza just for the evening. We didn't go visit the city this time. We couldn't get into the main area. It was full because we got there a little bit later, but there was plenty of room in the overflow. It's just as good. So we stayed in there for the night. And then the next day we headed up to a place that was recommended to us from our friends Jan and Rob, that we've been met at shows and things before in the camping areas. And
I'll say this one,
go on,
because I can only say it one way. El Ciego.
I don't know why.
That's the only way I can say it.
That helps to remember how it's pronounced. El Ciego. Yeah, that's my northern accent. Yeah, so yours sounds better. So El Ciego, went there.
Ciego.
We were recommended it because our friends stopped there and they said it had like wine tasting and stuff like that. Nice little village area. So we thought, why not?
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
we stayed there a couple of nights actually.
Yeah, we was going to do one night and go to Santander or something, wasn't we? But
because you can't drink that much wine and drive the next day.
No, because when we realised the place was lovely like it was and everything, we decided we would stay there 2 nights and we could take advantage of the wine tasting and things like that. Yeah. When they told us the wine tasting was 10:30 for the wine tasting tour, and the next morning...
I don't know, there were probably different times, but that's the time they had for us, when we booked it, which was fine. So we didn't taste
drink
the wine until midday, which is when they drink the wine anyway.
Yeah. So I thought actually we were drinking wine at 10:30 in the morning. They've got so much space with the where they have their vines and things like that, and they've got their own local name. There's a history behind it. You know, it's such a lovely place, and the village itself was all up on a hill, and that was beautiful. Yeah. And we'd definitely recommend that, wouldn't we, to anybody coming from Santander or going up.
16th to 18th century buildings, Spanish buildings. It was quite quiet there.
Yeah.
You had a few coach trips coming in, a lot of farmers on their tractors
with all the grapes,
moving the grapes around and stuff like that. And you did have obviously the more modern area. The area we sort of stayed in was the medieval area, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's not far from the mountains as well, was it? So that's kind of like where it was. But it's beautiful place. If you do go there, go up to the tourist information and they give you like a map and explain more of the history of it for you, and where the different trails, there's hiking trails and things like that as well.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, lots of different trails.
Yeah, we really enjoyed our trip. It was something different. We will visit Spain again at some point and go do some different things. We absolutely love Spain, but we do want to go other places, and next year we will be updating you in the new year about what our plans are.
Yes, because we're going to do some things slightly different.
Yeah, so stay tuned with us because you'll find out we're going to do things a little bit different, places we haven't been yet, things like that. So how much did it cost? Now, we think about 3,500 in all, don't we?
Yeah, with the ferry. Because the ferry is probably the most expensive thing. Yeah, with the ferry and the fuel and the eating out and the campsites, that's kind of what we've included, isn't it? Yeah. And some tolls as well. Yeah. So we haven't broken it down. No. But we're saying we did 5 weeks. We haven't said that to you already, sorry. We did 5 weeks with the ferry, with the fuel, going down to the coastline, eating out a few times, shopping as well, that. We reckon about 3.5. Yeah, so it was about 1,500 miles I done on that trip. So you're probably looking at around about £100 for every 400 miles, roughly. So you're still looking at, around £500 in fuel. And then the ferry was £1,600 roughly. Yeah. So you're probably looking at over £2,000 with that, was just fuel and ferry costs. Yeah. So you could probably do it for about 3, I reckon, for the 5 weeks. So it depends what you want, really. If you want to budget yourself and it's more about seeing an area on a really tight budget, you could do it for less. Easily. You just choose different campsites, different places to stay, and try and stay away from the big campsites, because that took quite a bit of our finances for them. I mean, you're probably looking at about 300. Yeah, one was about €300.
Yeah, another one was 200 and something. So yeah, you know, if you took that out of there, that's easily 500 quid easily.
Because there is obviously cheaper places to stay where you're paying €10, and if not nothing.
Yeah.
So,
but we always look at about, if we can have about £3,000 for a trip.
Yeah.
We know that we can sort of dip into our normal money wages then. If we've got £3,000 saved, we can do it, can't we?
Now we're in the process of saving again.
We're saving again. Yeah, so we're saving again now for the next one. So that's what we do. Go on a trip, come back, save to go on the next trip. So that's how we do things, because we're not fortunate enough to have that much money that we can just keep going whenever we want, and obviously restrictions.
We all wish that was the case for ourselves.
So yeah, that's it really. We've had a really good time in Spain. Really enjoyed ourselves. We're looking forward to what the future brings, aren't we?
We are, yeah. Definitely.
So thank you very much for staying tuned and finding out how we went on our journey. If you like some of the areas we're talking about, there will be links in the description for you to be able to find out where they are. So
on that note then, we'd like to say thank you to everyone that supports the channel, and as always, everyone that subscribes.
Oh, can I jump in there? So we don't normally ask people to subscribe. We just like people to make up their own choice, but what we've realised lately is there's quite a lot of people that are viewing that are not subscribed, and we've been speaking to people, and some people think you have to pay to subscribe, but it doesn't cost you anything. You just subscribe and you get to see what we're up to more often without having to search us. So it would help us hugely if you aren't subscribed and you're enjoying what you're seeing. If you're not enjoying it, don't want to subscribe, that's totally up to you. But if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out and you haven't subscribed yet, please, it would be great, and we'd really appreciate it if you did. Because
we always do appreciate it.
Yeah,
always do.
So we don't ask very often, but we are noticing on our analytics of the channel that there's it's like 50-50 really, isn't it? Yeah, people that watch you are subscribed, so we would appreciate it if you could subscribe if you want to see more. So on that note then, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. See ya.